So, I want to share with you an example of inner growth, a very personal example that reflects my journey around the sense, the feeling of abandonment and how it showed up with my partner. And this might be something that you could very well relate to, either in the current relationship that you're in, or perhaps one that you have had in the past, or for future reference. And my partner is a very private person, so I won't refer to my partner, who's a man, by name, because I want to respect that. But, it's that piece where I want to tell you about this because I think it's important, and I also want to make sure that I'm respecting him. So when I was growing up in a very volatile and abusive and unpredictable childhood, I had a mother who would ignore me, and she would ignore questions that I would ask her, and I knew full well that she would hear me, or she would really brush me off with just a, I don't want to talk right now. And so come around to my partner, and he is very laser focused. He has a wonderful, admirable sense of concentration when he's reading or reviewing something. And he puts that same focus on me when we're talking, so I really feel I'm heard. But earlier in our relationship, what happened is I would ask him a question, and he would be, involved in reading something, and he wouldn't answer me. And I would say, "Hello, I just asked you a question." And he would say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was in the middle of something here." And so what happened, and to compound the situation, is that he calls himself how did he say it? A slow processor. So that when I ask him a question, it could very well take 3 or 4 seconds to answer. So not an immediate reaction. So you can imagine when I asked him a question, when he was involved in something, reading off of the computer or reading a magazine or whatever, and he didn't answer me. And I would think that he was ignoring me, which just triggered me to no end. And so he would say to me, I heard you, and I'm thinking of the answer. So what happened was I was caught between the idea that, is he ignoring me, or has he heard me and he's just thoughtfully thinking of his response. And so what I had been doing in emotional liberation is working with this feeling, this sense of abandonment, which of course is all about self-esteem, and if somebody doesn't listen to me, then there must be something wrong with me, and of course to go down that rabbit hole that I really am not worthy to listen to. So it was a big deal for me in our relationship. So here's what we did in dealing with this and talking about this, because it's very important that once you actually are in touch with the emotion that is troubling you, and in this instance for me, it was that sense of abandonment, and which led to a feeling of I'm not being respected, that harkened back to my childhood. My partner and I figured out this, that when I would ask him a question, if he heard me, he would say, I'm thinking. So I would know that he heard me, and that if he didn't hear me, there wouldn't be any answer. He would continue because he's just in the depths of concentration, right? And so I would know that I needed to ask the question again. So this is the sort of tricky stuff that we need to work through when we are releasing difficult emotions that are anchored by trauma, the stuff that happened to us to a greater or lesser extent in childhood, and now here we are in adulthood and we're just smack dab in front of it. And this is a reminder for you to as you work through things, you go into your outer world, right? So it's a process of the inner work that reflects the process of the outer work, and being able to address these things with others who are in your environment, whether it is personal, your intimate relationship, your family environment, or your work environment. Yeah? So I would really like to hear from you on this and find out if this is a sticky wicket for you and what your experience has been. So drop down into the comments section and let me know, okay? I'm Becca Williams, and I want you to have a marvelous life, and I want to help you do that.